We've returned to Colorado. The landscape is just as beautiful as we remember. But our experience here has been partially bittersweet. Knowing that we explored these exact trails 2 years ago, with 2 dogs in the back seat instead of 1. Today, we take time to slow down and reflect on our adventure. This series of Varsity Overland is supported by Diodynamics, Rollercam, Rocky Talkie Mountain Radio, and F&F Specialty Vehicles, Connecticut's premier vehicle outfitter.
Well, it is day 7 of the expedition, which means we've officially been on the road for a week. And after we left Colorado Springs, we found ourselves in Pike National Forest. And this is one of those big, significant spots that I've mentioned previously on the trip, because this national forest is actually where Michelle and I got engaged. I proposed to Michelle here at a spot called Eagle's Nest. No? It's called Eagle's Nest. I was going to say Eagle's Landing. I'm not cutting that out. Let's keep going. It's called Eagle's Nest, and we're going to visit that in the morning. There's a potential for a little bit of rain overnight, although we have some clear skies right now. So the condition for night number 2 in Colorado is so much better than night number 1 in Colorado. We did revisit our campsite that we used 2 years ago. And we just kind of determined that there was a lot of overgrowth, and it just seemed a little bit more dirty than it did last time. There was a lot of water, standing water, maybe more bugs. Filmed a little bit, took a couple pictures there just for nostalgia's sake, but then we moved deeper into the mountain to find this spot. So yeah, we're setting up camp. We already have the tent open, eating some food, using the drone a little bit, just enjoying, I think, what will be the first really relaxing night of camping here in Colorado.
What are you doing? You trying to get up into the tent? Is that where you want to go? It does not take Pepper very long to investigate the campsite and then immediately try to go up into the tent so that she can lay down and sleep. What are you looking at? What do you see out there?
So we had a pretty interesting night last night. There was a wild lightning storm that lasted for hours. It was like fireworks, just constantly. No thunder, no rain, just a cloudy sky and lights flashing like every 30 seconds it felt like. But thankfully everything else was pretty calm. Everything worked out. Slept through the night. It was nice and cool. And we got to enjoy kind of like a restful, peaceful morning here in the forest. So what I'm doing now is I'm going through and checking all the bolts that hold the tent in place, hold the bed rack down, because the road to get out here, I don't want to say was difficult, but there's a lot of washboard and there's a lot of potholes. So whenever you go through a long road like that, several miles long, you want to go through and just double check everything. I already noticed that one of the knobs that keeps my tonneau cover in place came loose a little bit, you know? So if you leave that unattended for the next 2 weeks, bad things could happen. So I'm just going to go through and start checking all the bolts for everything that keeps everything secure, and hopefully we don't have any issues.
After checking everything over on the truck, we made our way to Eagle's Landing Lookout, where I had proposed to Michelle 2 years prior. Was it necessary to plan a 5-week, 8,000-mile cross-country overland expedition just to distract her from my potential proposal plans? Yes. Yes, it was.
Now this is pod racing.
So here's a useful tip. When you come up to a new campsite that you've never been to before, especially in a new environment or new terrain, do a thorough walkthrough of the surrounding area, because you never know what you might come across. And this morning, Pepper found what looks to be the remains of a deer carcass or something like that. Honestly, it just looks like it's the pelt. And although we did walk around the campsite a lot when we arrived here yesterday, it still eluded us. And you can see the truck is right over there. So always be sure, especially if you have like pets or young kids, you always want to investigate a large area around your campsite just to be sure that you don't stumble across anything, or your child or your pet. Same thing happened to us when we were camping in Wyoming. We arrived to a campsite kind of late and didn't realize till the next morning that there was a big old pile of bones and some sort of maybe like elk carcass near our campsite. I get it, sometimes you arrive to camp and all you want to do is set up, sit down and relax, but you always got to keep yourself safe and be aware.
Later that morning, we departed from the San Isabel National Forest to explore a unique landscape not normally associated with Colorado, the Great Sand Dunes National Park. Join us for the next episode of the Colorado Expedition, which documents our 9th day of travel. We'll visit one of the state's most iconic waterfalls and finally ascend into the San Juan Mountains to experience some real off-road driving. Thank you so much for watching and joining us on this adventure. We appreciate your interest as well as the support from companies who help make these videos possible.